Hi guys, this is Nada from Techtesters, and here we have the Dominator Platinum RGB, Corsair's brand new memory modules. Now they started with this RGB craze in 2017 with their Vengeance RGB modules, followed by Vengeance Pro RGB a year later, and now their high-end Dominator Platinums are getting the inevitable RGB upgrade as well. With these, Corsair promises not just more but far better RGB than ever, so we're going to put them to the test, see if that is the truth, and see how they actually perform. Let's go! This video is brought to you by the Aorus AD27QD, Gigabyte's very first gaming monitor that earned my top recommendation if you're looking for a fast, solid performing 27-inch Quad HD monitor for gaming and creative tasks. Get yours using the link in the description below. Let's start with the modules themselves. They are really heavy, beautiful crafted metal with a proper heatsink underneath. It's a big difference from cheaper options that often don't have much more than a thin piece of sheet metal. Now in most cases that won't matter much, but these models won't be cheap, so it's nice to know for yourself that you're getting a premium quality product. Keep in mind they are quite tall, so do check compatibility if you're going for air cooling. Before we dive into the RGB, let's talk performance. This is a 32GB 3600 MHz C16 kit consisting of 4 8GB modules. So we tested them as a pair as well as all 4 combined. When it comes to performance testing of these super fast DDR4 modules, I have to say it feels a bit unnecessary, as when it comes to real-world impact, you can barely notice the difference between these and the mainstream speeds, which is now 3000 MHz. However, it is nice to put them against a ton of other DDR4 kits that we've tested before and see if it performs as expected in our synthetic benchmarks. It is among the fastest modules out there. If you're wondering what the impact is on your actual gaming experience, well, these graphs should clear that up a bit. We use Assassin's Creed Odyssey on purpose as that is a very CPU-dependent game. In that test, we actually see a huge gap if we clock down to 2133 MHz. Memory speed is definitely not something you should ignore, but from 3000 to 3200 MHz and more, the impact of faster memory modules becomes almost insignificant. Assuming, of course, you're not going to play on a Full HD medium settings with a high-end RTX 2080 Ti. Considering Corsair is going to sell these kits rated from 3000 all the way up to an insane 4800 MHz, it's worth keeping an eye on the pricing at the time of purchase. Upgrading to 3200 MHz will probably be worth the small price increase, but the higher rated models do become expensive fast, with 16GB of 4800 MHz Dominator costing as much as a 64GB kit rated at 3600 MHz. Now, those are some very impressive speeds, but the number of scenarios where that will be a reasonable investment is small. That being said, not too long ago even 3200 MHz memory seemed impossible, so I guess it's cool that Corsair is giving the richest among us a little glimpse into the future when we eventually move on to the DDR5s. Now on to the star of the show. Corsair has been talking about their new Capellix LEDs since CES this year, saying that their new LED modules are much smaller while being brighter and more power efficient. The smaller part is especially important as that means they can add more LEDs per memory module, and that definitely shows. This brings us to one of the strengths of Corsair RGB kits, their software. We have seen and tested dozens of different RGB kits, and while you can argue subjective looks and preferences, Corsair really does dominate when it comes to software functionality. Even some of the basic stuff like telling it where each module is, checking the timings and temperatures are things you won't find in most others. You can also use it to notify you through the LEDs when the temperatures get high or when to push firmware updates. There's also a ton of RGB options, of course, from an easy just set all your Corsair hardware and peripherals to one color instant lighting option to a ton of different RGB presets. Now, all the standard effects most of you probably know, but there are some really fun and original ones. For those of you with more patience than me, you can also make layers and individually set every single LED to whatever you have in mind. My bottom line is that I absolutely love this memory. Now, the Dominator Platinums were always a bit nicer, and these RGB modules are no exception. If you're going to be critical, you have to ask yourself at the end of the day how much real-life performance you're actually going to get from this higher speed. But hands down, this is the nicest RGB set we've seen so far that is supported by the best software package, at least when it comes to RGB modules. It is pricey. So if you're looking for something a bit more affordable, you should definitely check their Vengeance Pro RGB set, which is absolutely great. But I know that a lot of you there want something a bit nicer than the mainstream, and you're willing to pay a premium price for a premium product, and this is exactly what this set offers. Now, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about this review and about these modules. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye!